I'm the Great North Witch. This is the Aligned Path, and today we're weaving a little magic into this giant circle garden, transforming it from empty earth into a whimsical, cottage-style showstopper. Before I plant a single flower, I always start with a plan. I sketch out the garden and think about how the sun is going to move across the space throughout the day. That helps me decide where everything should go. The tallest plants are planted at the back, so the shorter flowers in the front are still able to get lots of sun. By planning around the mature plant height, I can make sure that every flower has a chance to be seen and get its fair share of sunshine. So with this garden, I'm looking for a more cottagey vibe. One of the biggest misconceptions about cottage gardens is that they're completely random. I know you've seen people doing the chaos garden method. While cottage gardens do have a really relaxed and abundant feel, they're actually much more intentionally planted than they appear. If you're aiming for that true cottage garden look, you'll want to group flowers together of the same variety. A common mistake is just scattering the seeds everywhere, chaos style, and hoping for the best. While that does create a beautiful display, it often looks more like a wildflower meadow than a classic cottage style garden. To achieve that classic cottage style garden effect we're looking for, I like to plant my flowers in clusters of 3 or 5 or more. I don't plant in uniform shapes. I let them kind of blob together, and I like to repeat little clusters because that creates kind of drifts of color and texture, and it makes the garden feel really romantic but also cohesive. So once you've made a plan that follows the height of each mature flower, I bring my plan right out to the garden. Using nothing more than a stick, I like to mark out the sections of where each flower is going to go. It doesn't have to be fancy or anything, it's just a visual to help guide me while I plant. So I just use my stick, to copy the plan onto the soil.
Now, asters can't be planted where they were planted last year, so I'm putting them in a new spot in my garden here.
Before any planting begins, I make sure the garden is thoroughly weeded, and I'm just using my little trowel to help loosen the soil. It's also important to understand what type of soil you're working with. Is it sandy and fast draining? Is it heavy clay? Is it rich in organic matter, or is it lacking nutrients? Every garden is different, but understanding your soil will help give your plants the best possible start. I know this particular garden that used to have a big tree in it is quite low in nitrogen, so I like to amend the soil accordingly, and I also fertilize throughout the summer. A balanced feeding routine every couple of weeks will help keep your flowers healthy and blooming at their best. Because I know this soil is lacking, I've added in some compost, but to begin the season, I also am weaving in, like poking holes in, and adding in some bone meal. Bone meal is mostly phosphorus and calcium, so it's really good for young seedlings, and it helps them develop a nice healthy root system. Then later on in the year, I'm using both a balanced fertilizer as well as some blood meal, which will help maintain beautiful, green, luscious seedlings. If you didn't know, that's what the 3 numbers on your fertilizer blend represent. It's a ratio of N, P, and K. So nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Now that my soil is all weeded and gently turned, I am all ready to start planting my little seedlings. In this section, I'm planting a mixture of Chinese asters. Some are purple, some are white, and I'm using this little plug tray. Now, this garden probably has maybe 1,000 plants in it, And that can get really expensive. So I encourage you to try growing your own seeds. It's way easier than often we're misled on the internet to believe. A couple years ago, when I first started growing my seedlings, I literally had a plywood board across some buckets under the brightest window in my house. And I was still able to grow over 1,000 seedlings that first year. And if you want that wow garden factor without breaking the bank, like I can go to the flower store and buy like 1 or 2 trays of plants and spend $200. That's insane to me. So if you can, start small, start big, just give it a try. Grow your own flowers, grow your own food, all your seedlings. It's so easy. And just plant like 25% more than you need so that you have, wiggle room. Even the best gardener kills a few plants now and then. And you just don't know it because we plant so many that you won't even notice if one is missing. Certain flowers, like stock, I like to plant as both seedlings and seed. When I plant the seedlings, they give me earlier blooms while the seeds have time to catch up and bloom later in the season. It's a really simple trick I use to extend the flowering period in my garden, especially if you want a variety of flowers. Some of them aren't cut and come again, so when you cut one, that's it. So you actually have to succession sow. So maybe you have seedlings at 2 different stages, and then you also direct sow some of the seeds when you're planting the seedlings. But I'm loving these little seedling plugs. They are such an easy way to grow. I think my tray has 200 plugs per tray. And if you start at the right time, it's a really great way to grow a whole bunch of little seedlings and give them head start without taking up your entire living room. And if you can't grow any seedlings, there are so many varieties of flowers that you can direct sow. Marigolds, calendulas, cosmos, nasturtiums, the sunflowers, the list is endless. I also make sure to collect an abundance of seeds in the fall from my previous year's flowers. Like hundreds and hundreds of heads of marigolds and cosmos. That makes thousands and thousands of seeds. So I use those to interplant between seedlings and plants that I have grown that are already established. Dude, I sow marigold seeds everywhere. I put that shit on everything. My center garden is always a little bit special for me. I like to think of it as my showcase garden. I try my best to include 1 cluster of every flower growing in the yard in this garden. My theory is it kind of brings all the gardens together in a cohesive palette. It's a rainy day, but it's a couple weeks later. I'll tell you exactly when I look it up. But here's what's going on. And now I know it looks like there's a bunch of weeds, but I promise there's not that many. I mean, there's definitely weeds. This is a row of alyssums I did around the outside so that they'll flow over and kind of border the garden. But we have petunias that I grew from seed, marigolds, cosmos, stock, snapdragons, some Chinese asters here. There's delphiniums up there. Different colored asters here, some wildflowers, some zinnias at the back. So it should kind of up into height, but also still have clusters of colors. Oh, I'm getting rained on. Okay, I will show you guys again come summertime. This was my center garden last year. These are the only videos I have of it, but you can see things are clustered. They're in different heights. Short things at the front, taller in the back, but kind of the visual we're trying to achieve. I hope this inspired you to grow your own cottage style garden. And until next time I see you on the aligned path, stay safe.